Shalom, 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 and shalom, Sister Deborah, prophetess in the wilderness. And you know what? That's all right with me. Coming again on this Deborah platform with another message. And I will say this is a lovely, lovely morning in which the Most High Yah has made. And I, Sister Deborah, shall and I will rest therein. I'm not going to hold you long. I just want to drop something in your spiritual ear that the Father gave me in the water this morning, through the water this morning, washing my face and looking in the mirror at the same time. And he spoke to me and he said, you remember how your son, Charles, all his life, less than 7 to 8 years ago, you used to tell him he's the one. You always felt he was the one. This is what the Spirit was explaining to me. You always felt that your son Charles was the one. So you all know that I have 6 adult children, and my son Charles was the one that I said was he's my husband' oldest son. He's the junior. I always said he was the one. Oh, he's the one. I always said that. I always felt he was the one. He had a lot of ways that I saw like unto myself. He was so concerned about me as a mother. It felt like I was his everything. And now you got to understand, this is a child coming up in his as a child, as a teenager. His mom was his favorite, and he just a mama's boy. I mean, used to uh, make sure that everything he does, he worked very hard in trying to make me happy. And I just thought, oh, he's the one. He's the one. And I never said that among the other children. I never said it to them where they heard it. It was a relationship between me and him. Always telling him, I always thought you was the one. Oh, you the one. I always meant, I felt that he would be the one to take care of his mama because I felt that he had a I called it back then, it was love for me as a mother and a mother to a son, okay? And a son to a mother. But more so, uh, 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 he had a thing about me. And all that time he was chasing, trying to make me happy, and making me feel good. So I just, not because of that reason, I said he was the one. It's because I always felt that this son is the one, the Most High Yah son me. He's the one. Yah said that over, over, and over. As he got to the age of 17 and 18, things began to change. I realized the son which I call the one, thinking that he was the one that the Most High Yah has blessed me with to be a help to his mother, a support system to his mother. And I'm not talking about support as financial or doing things for his mother, but spiritual support. That's what I thought. When he turned 17 and 18, things began to change. And I realized from that time on, I was chasing situations he was getting into and trying to get him out of situations that I found him getting into freely. He wasn't doing things that he didn't want to do. He was doing things that was hurting me as a mother and making it hard for me and displeasing me. So the son that I thought was the one that the father had dropped down to be one that helped me spiritual turned up to be the one that gave me more disappointment. So as time went on, it got worse and worse and worse. And it got worse and worse and worse, you guys. I mean, even to the point where off the chain disrespect. dishonor. I mean, not a feeling in this child that says, oh, this is my mommy, this is my mother, I'm crazy about my mother. I began to see the opposite of really who he was. And then as time go on, no matter what he did, I embrace him as the one. I'm gonna tell y'all, no matter all the wicked and evil and the destruction and the peace that he was not, no, I ain't gonna say he brought me peace, but the destruction that he brought me not peace, but yet I held on to the one. And I think it's been a good 7 years the Father have released me by saying, now, do you understand he is the one? And I'm like saying, he is the one? Oh no. He is the one? Yes, he's the one. Out of the two. One gonna bring you peace and one gonna bring you destruction. What have he brought you? You mean he's the one that's gonna bring you destruction? But yet he was the one. See, I wanted him to be my son that brings not only me peace, but peace in the family, support the family, and be the one that feel mama. You know what I'm saying? But the Father showed me in the last 7 to 8 years that, see, now you understand he's not the one. You didn't see all the time that you was getting him out of situations. You was beating the system and going up against the system for him. You was making sure he had A to Z. But now you see. You didn't see that as, wait a minute, he can't be the one. I got to go through all of this. You kept calling him the one. But in the last 7 years, you now know he is the one that don't bring you peace, but bring you destruction. So all the time he was the one, y'all, to bring me no peace as a mother. You see what I'm saying? So he was showing me that in the water this morning when I was washing my face. He was saying that you all those years you called him the one. Didn't realize you was right by saying he was the one, but he was not the one of peace. He was the one that brings a mother sorrow. Go that twos. Watch out for the twos, y'all. The way you measure one is by the twos. Let me say that again. The way you measure one is by twos. You can measure an individual, one person, by two ways: peace or destruction. Sister Deborah have told you to put in your backpack the measure of two. Always. And with this son, I just saw him as the one that brings peace. And even throughout life, I wanted him to be the one. But just because I wanted him to be the one, because he was my son, that I so what you call love. I so gave and give and gave. He was the one that I gave and give so much to you guys. But he also is the one that brings his mother the sorrow and not the peace. So the Yah was saying you were right about him being the one, but you didn't understand the one. Then he began, he was saying all of this in the water. And then he began to tell me about how life is. You can have the one before you, but you have to understand the two. Which one of the two rests in that one? You can have a best friend and trying to figure out, this is the one, this is my best friend. But sometimes you're trying to figure out, wait, which side is she on? Which side is he on? The Father said, break it up in twos. One to bring sorrow or one to bring peace. In between is the same as sorrow when it don't bring you peace. You can have a sister, a blood sister, or sisters. The one that bring you peace is one, and the one that bring you sorrow is another. You can have neighbors. Break them up in twos to tell who is the one. And what if they're the one, are they the one of peace or are they the one of sorrow? Let's say co-workers. Break them bad boys up in two. Are they the co-workers of peace or are they the co-workers of sorrow? This is what he wanted me to understand this morning, as if I felt I already understood, but I like how he broke it down. So I'm going to break it down to y'all like he broke it down to me. So I'm like saying, okay, I'm kind of getting this. If I have 6 children, are they there for sorrow to a mother? Or are they there for peace to a mother? You see what I'm saying? If you got a wife, is she there to bring you sorrow? Or is she there to bring you peace? You know that you and her are one. But what part of her that is connected to you? Is it the sorrow or is it the peace? You can have a husband. You know that you're married and y'all become one. You can be one in the flesh or one in the spirit. 99.9 people have married the flesh because they saw the outer part of who each other was, not making sure each other's put Yah first to become united as equally yoked in the eyes of Yah. They got equally yoked in the eyes of their flesh. But again, if a husband, is he bringing you peace or is he bringing you sorrow? Those are the two. Okay, I'm gonna show y'all how that wrap up in the kingdom of the heaven. So he was telling me about my son, and y'all, it was say about 16, 17 years. I thought he was the one. Even when I had to get him out of situations, and I found myself having to help him in everything to be the best that he could be, I realized that I continued to call him the one until the Ruach stopped me and said, wait a minute, what is the one? Do you know the difference? Oh, yes, he stopped me. So this morning when he was explaining to me, he was sharing with me that I have to apply that to any and everything, even on this devil platform. Who you run up on? Are they coming to be peace or to bring sorrow? They can be the one, but the one to bring what? Peace or sorrow? A lot of times them themselves don't even understand that they can be about sorrow in the midst of one that comes to give people the peace that passes all understanding that y'all want each and individual to have in their backpack. So are you about the peace or are you about the sorrow? Now watch this. He began to say to me that you doing that with that son, that you really chose to be the one. You wasn't wrong about having the one, but you chose to embrace the one that brought sorrow as the one that is the spiritual. That's not how I pick, Deborah. That's what the Father is trying to get me to understand. It's not he that bring more wisdom and knowledge and understanding that is the peace. That's not the peace. At the same time, that individual can be the sorrow. It's how they rumble that determine. So he went on and telling me that I want you to understand what I'm saying to you. So you can know that people will come with great wisdom, great knowledge, and great sorrow. Not great, he said great wisdom, great knowledge, and great understanding. But behind it all, it can also be representing sorrow. Let me say that again. He said they can come and bring great wisdom, great knowledge, and great understanding, Deborah. But behind their agenda is sorrow. So you can exactly understand that they are the one, but you got to understand which one. The one that brings sorrow or the one that brings peace. Only the Ruach himself knows what he said. Now watch what he told me. I'm going to show y'all. The father went on this morning. He said, Deborah, let's start with Abraham. If it was up to Abraham, he would have chose Ishmael over Isaac. This is what the father explained it to me. Abraham would have chose his first son, Ishmael, over Isaac within the blink of an eye. He said, Deborah, I had to show Abraham exactly what I'm showing you today in the year 2024. Abraham was making Ishmael the one. You was making Charles Jr. the one. So just because you feel that he is the one does not make him the one in me. So be careful with thinking people are the one. Once you have realized they are the one, now you got to understand what a one of what? Sorrow, to bring sorrow or to bring peace. Abraham just knew that Ishmael was his heart. That was his firstborn. He was hurt. He was a man that was hurt. Just imagine receiving your first son, Ishmael. You ain't looking at that he's from a bondswoman. You ain't looking at he's not the promise. You ain't looking at anything but, hey, this is my baby. This is my son out of man. I named him Ishmael. This is mine. So what did y'all have to do? Explain to him that he is not the one. He explained to him that he was not the one, but he made sure and he assured Abraham that he was going to bless Ishmael. In Genesis chapter 17 and verse 18, hear this. And Abraham said unto Yah, oh, that Ishmael might live before thee. Abraham wanted Ishmael to be the number one seed before Yah, his firstborn. You see what I'm saying? How it's connecting to mine? I'm thinking that my son is the one. Same way. See, a lot of my life has to match those who have served Yah. My life don't have to match you and your ways, your thoughts, your feelings. My ways matches them. I know that they are my brothers without a doubt. I already know that they are mine. They my brothers without a doubt because they walk the same line that I walk here today in the year 2024. So when he's showing me Ishmael and he wanted me to see how Abraham felt. Listen to this. Genesis chapter 17 and verse 18. Genesis chapter 17 and verse 18. And Abraham said unto God, oh, that Ishmael might live before thee. He wanted Ishmael to be that anointed one before Yah, because that's how he felt about his firstborn, his baby. Well, that's how Sister Deborah explained it to you, how I felt about Charles Jr. That's how I felt. So the Father is showing me information that would help me put this video out to you so you can understand about placing people as special people and making them the one. You can be right in what you're saying, the one, but you have to take out the time to see their actions and how they conduct themselves to see the one do what? Do what? Sorrow or peace? That's what you watch out for, said the Most High God. They can be the one, 100% the one, but the one of what? Sorrow or peace? Now listen to this. So the Father continued to talk to me in the water, and he said, Isaiah. He said, Isaiah, Abraham's son Isaac, not Isaiah, Isaac. He said, now let's go to Isaac, Deborah. He was Abraham's son, but you know he was mine too. He was a seed from the heaven, the servant of mine. Isaac was. But Isaac had, well, who? Esau and Jacob. Isaac chose Esau, his first son, over Jacob. That was his preference. Esau was his. He wanted Esau. And he called him out for the blessing. He said, so you saying that Charles Jr. was the one? That's about right. As flesh and blood, it's easy to say one is the one because you're looking and you're hearing out of the carnal mind and you're seeing it the way you really want it to be. But most times, 99.9, it can't be what you want. It has to be what I created it to be for me, for my namesake, Deborah. So he went on and showing me about Isaac. Wanted Esau to be the one, as Abraham wanted Ishmael to be the one. I said, okay, I'm getting this thing now, Father. It's more so putting me in there. So he's showing me that I'm walking that same line. And then he said, well, what do you think about Joseph? I think Joseph wanted Massa. I think that's his name. And Yah chose, Joseph wanted Massa, I think, if that's his name. He had two sons, Ephraim. Is it Ephraim? Ephraim and Massa, or something like that. Joseph wanted his older son, Massa. I'm just saying Massa. I don't know if that's how you pronounce it. But what? What happened? Jacob chose not the one. Jacob chose not Joseph's oldest son, Massa. He chose Ephraim. I think that's his name. Ephraim. You see? So even with Joseph, his favorite was his oldest. Mine was Charles Jr. The Father wants me to explain to you that in this life, on your workplace, at your workplace, in your community, your neighbors, your family, especially amongst your children, your wife or your husband, your grandparents, friends, always understand the one can be both. They could be the one of sorrow, or they can be the one of peace. People can come in your life. He said, measure them as being the one that is called out as the one, but you have to be able to measure the one that what? Bring peace or to bring sorrow. And let me nail that to y'all. And the Father says, it is his right hand that he bring the one before you. Yah will bring the one before you. But it's up to you to put them in their prospective place based on their actions. Are they the one for peace? Or are they the one for sorrow? Don't ever measure one knowing so much, even Sister Deborah, knowing what she's knowing to be the one for peace or the one for sorrow. You measure her the same way. Am I come to bring as the one, the servant of Yah, you peace or sorrow? You get what I'm saying? Now I hope you're getting it, because that's what he's saying. Is one coming to bring peace into one unity? Or is Deborah coming to bring sorrow into one unity? Now, another thing he wants you to understand, okay? Could you please hold? Good morning, USA Cleaning. How may I help you? Yes, ma'am.